Hello, everyone. This is Bernadine from Vastari. It's really wonderful to have you here today for our webinar. This is a very special edition of Vastari Connects. We actually are starting a series this week that is for the Vastari Reports on Collecting, which will be launching on the 30th of September. These reports are based on surveys with over 300 collectors from around the world who responded to a lot of questions that we asked them about their collections, about their relationships with museums, about their relationships with artists. And we've decided on 4 of the main themes from those reports to talk about on a series of 4 webinars. And so the first theme that we've decided to tackle today is related to sustainability and talking about the climate. And we have 4 speakers here today that will be speaking on different subjects. We've split the call into, I guess, 3 parts. The first part, we will have Caitlin Southwick and Anne Beavis discussing sustainability for the art industry from a commercial and company point of view. And then the second part will be with Miriam Calzada and Ziggy Benheim, who are both artists who are producing work that relates to this subject. And their exhibitions are visible on the Vastari platform. So if you're interested, you can check it out after the webinar. And then the last part will be about questions. So if there is anything in the chat that we want to address, but also I have some great pressing questions I'd love to ask the panelists. So as mentioned, please do add your questions in the chat so that we can deal with them at the end of the call. And before we started the call, I wanted to explain why we are addressing this today. So we've prepared a few slides with some of the examples of what people responded to our Vastari Connects, our Vastari report on collecting on this survey. So what we asked collectors 2 main questions about the environmental impact of their collection. So first of all, whether they think about the environmental impact of maintaining their collection. And the second part was what kind of steps they think they could do in order to decrease the impact, the environmental impact. And though a high proportion of our respondents understood that that their collections had an impact on the environment, the responses were varied in terms of what they thought they could do. Some of them were quite dramatic, or some responses were quite practical in terms of how to improve their relationship with the environmental impact of their collections, ranging from looking at the materials of the works that they are collecting, thinking about how sustainable they are in terms of conservation of those materials, but also looking at whether flying around the world for the art world, all of the events, whether that was impactful. And bear in mind, this survey was from 2019, which was before the coronavirus pandemic. So this topic has become much more prevalent in 2020. So it's something that people are really thinking about now. But overall, of the collectors who said that they thought that their collection did have an environmental impact, there was a big part of not knowing what to do and not knowing how to tackle this issue and feeling that it's almost bigger than oneself. And so what we decided to do on this first Vastari Connects webinar is to speak to a few of the people who will be able to help us understand what can be done in terms of the sustainability and environmental impacts of collections, and what is already happening, but also how we can raise awareness.